A new villain has steamrolled, or should I say, manipulated time to shoehorn his way into the MCU.
In my time, I rule all.
Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Kang the Conqueror, who has his eyes set on taking down the Avengers. With new villains, we can expect new heroes, so who could we see? Nova? Black Knight? Wait, this can't be right. Thanos? Didn't he get dusted to Otherworld? What if I told you he was still alive? And what if I told you he's going to make his return soon to help the Avengers put a stop to the multidimensional master of time? Okay. So what's going on with Thanos? Is he alive or is he not alive? Are you telling me we all celebrated in theaters for nothing? Yes, I am. When we look back to Doctor Strange, we learn that sorcerers can't see past the day the sun finally sets for them. However, Doctor Strange was able to see through 14,605 timelines and select the one where he got dusted and will return with everyone else. Also, from a deleted scene in Avengers Endgame, we learn from the Ancient One that the Infinity Stones cannot bring someone back to life. If you're gone, you're gone. So putting 2 and 2 together, the 2014 version of Thanos is alive and kicking it. And Tony, well, maybe you shouldn't have snapped your fingers. So now that we figured that out, the question remains, where is the Mad Titan and how does he make his grand appearance? Well, there's a few theories. After Avengers Infinity War, the popular fan theory was that everyone that got dusted was transported to the Soul World. That same world both Tony and Thanos went to after they snapped. So it's possible that the man known for his chin is there waiting for someone to undust him. However, with the Infinity Stones broken down to a quantum level, it's likely impossible that he'll ever walk his sweet farmland again. It's more likely that at some point in the MCU, we'll see a variant Thanos. Remember, in Loki, we learned that variants of our favorite characters exist. And now with no TVA ruining all the fun, these variants, along with the multiverse itself, can do whatever it would like to. Also, according to Loki director Kate Herron, any one of these branches, alternate realities, can converge on other alternate realities, or the main MCU timeline, creating a bridge between the two worlds. In simpler terms, a shared universe, meaning if Thanos wants to stroll on in on his Thanos copter, he can do so and start his conquest to make the galaxy a lot more dusty. Essentially, as many times as he would like to. An infinite number of realities equals an infinite amount of Kangs, as well as any other character in the MCU. So if Thanos is making his grand return, why would he help the Avengers? Well, it's an enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of situation. Kang is the kind of guy that will allow anything that benefits his road to conquering the multiverse, good or bad, and Thanos simply doesn't fit into that equation. Tie that with Thanos' self-righteous path to save the multiverse, the Mad Titan will do just about anything to get the job done, even if that means teaming up with Earth's mightiest heroes. Also, the funny thing is, I'm not just making this up. This team up has happened very recently in the comics, as the Avengers and Thanos took on the man with many names. So one thing I really love when talking about the idea, or more so now the reality of the MCU multiverse, is that all the various and abstract stories we see in the comics become canon in a way. Because who knows, right? Even though we don't see things play out on screen, there are an infinite number of timelines now where these stories can take place. So let's dive into one of those, and spoiler warning in advance. In the recent comic series, Avengers Mech Strike, the Avengers essentially become the Power Rangers, sitting up in mechs to face the new threat which they call biomechanoids. Day after day, Earth's mightiest heroes do battle with the biomechs while trying to understand where they come from and why they're here. Soon, they find their answer, as not only are these beasts from another world, they're from the 31st century, aka Kang the Conqueror. His tech, combined with celestial energy, means the bad news for the Avengers and the world, as the blue-faced man has officially conquered time. Actually, conquered may not be the right phrase to use because time is broken. Portals to different eras are open all across Earth. Earth's mightiest are overwhelmed, and this looks like it could be their final battle. That is, until help arrives in the most unlikely of forms. The Mad Titan Thanos, who has no idea who the Avengers are, but no Kang stands in his way. Now, from here, I won't go too much farther into this comic as Thanos gets utterly demolished by Kang. Dude made the Mad Titan see his entire life in a second and then turned to bones. Also, I don't want to spoil the ending in case you do want to read this series, but this shows one of the many timelines where Thanos could assist the Avengers in some way, even if that means he bites the dust. Honestly, what not a better way to showcase the power of the MCU's new big bad by crushing the last one in mere seconds. However, the point of this video is to talk about how Thanos will help defeat Kang, not how Thanos will be embarrassed by the man with many names. My theory is that Thanos will help defeat Kang, but he won't do it alone. It's gonna take a brand new team to get the job done. When we first learned about the multiverse from Miss Minutes, we learned the Timekeepers and the TVA exist to prevent a second multiversal war from breaking out. Largely, I think we all thought that was a load of you-know-what. After learning that all TVA agents are variants themselves, and the Timekeepers are nothing more than a bucket of bolts with cool-looking eyes. However, this war was confirmed by He Who Remains in his detailed breakdown of how the variants of Kang came together and duked it out for multiversal supremacy. Now that He Who Remains has kicked the bucket though, and due to the actions of Sylvie, Wanda, or Cap, depending on what theory you believe, a second multiversal war is looming, or has very well already begun. We mentioned earlier that when it comes to Kang, whatever takes place in the multiverse is more or less his doing, because he'll allow anything that benefits his rise to the top. And I'm a huge believer that we'll begin to see this influence on the multiverse as early as What If, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and especially in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, where we'll possibly see a younger Kang or even Kang Prime. In terms of What If in the Multiverse of Madness, that influence won't likely result in us seeing Kang ourselves, but it could be seen through heroes fighting heroes, as Kang has recruited characters to fight his battles for him in the comics as the Kronos Corps. Or we could see his influence through new big bads such as Shuma Gorath, a multiversal being who's known for consuming and conquering entire universes. He's currently rumored to be in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and makes sense towards Kang's ultimate goal. Go consume the universes that pose a threat and conquer those who could help in his grand scheme. Overall, this is all to say that Kang is going to wreak havoc across the multiverse, which ties back to where Thanos will get involved. The way I see this arc ending is largely in a similar way to how Avengers Endgame ended. However, rather than Earth's mightiest heroes facing Thanos and his army, they'll be taking on the Council of Kangs, or every Kang that exists in the multiverse. I know, the odds seem steep against a stacked team like that, but here's where things get fun. Much like how in the Avengers Mech Strike comic, our heroes and Thanos came into agreement, I believe the multiverse will come into an agreement. And we're gonna see an alliance of our favorite heroes and villains on a multiversal scale. So we won't just see one variant of Thanos, we may see all the variants of the Mad Titan, along with every variant in existence. With the rebirth of the multiverse, the possibilities are honestly endless, and it makes me, and I know you as well, excited to see what's in store as the MCU races forward. If we are getting a variant Thanos, which version of the Mad Titan do you want to see? I mentioned him earlier, but personally, I would love to see the variant who had the Thanos copter fly in and then get demolished by Kang. It'd be quite a treat.